Yeah, so this is Country Music News International. My name is Nigel Sharpe, and I'm speaking to Bobby Marquez, who is, as we've just said, over in Nashville, but he is from Texas originally. Now, I know that. So what was this rodeo show you were doing then?
So I went down to do the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, and I usually do it every year. This was my 21st year doing the rodeo down there, so it was quite an anniversary to go down there and play for all my friends and family and fans down there. Had a really good time. It was cold the first night I was there,
Really,
but the second night it was actually a pretty nice night.
Okay. So what actually happens in the USA when there's like, a rodeo one with professional rodeo riders? What's the deal with the music? How does that work with, playing at a rodeo in the USA?
It's like usually, like whenever I've done rodeos and stuff like that, usually music is always tied in with rodeo. No matter what, it's always tied in. And you actually see a little bit more of like the Western swing music,
Right.
cowboy music, stuff like that, always tied in. And then there's plenty of food. There's plenty of barbecue, and they have some brisket down here in Texas, which is really good meat. Oh, it's just fabulous with sausage and stuff like that. It's just fabulous. And then of course the dancing, the two-step and dancing goes along with all that too. And it's just a big party. I mean, then that's what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get into more rodeo type events and stuff like that because I love doing that. My music reflects a lot of that too, the rodeo life and the rodeo style.
Yeah, let's get to the music because, as I say, I did a good 20 years of playing around the American military clubs here mostly in Germany. So the kind of music we were doing, because essentially we were just a cover band, is what I would now call traditional country. And when I've been listening to your material the last couple of days, checking out some videos and websites and this and that, for me, it's traditional country, and there's some nice swing in there as well, Western swing. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. So, I mean, is that a fair comment to make? Do you see yourself as a more traditional performer?
Absolutely. I've always grew up listening to the traditional country music. My dad had always played a bunch of records when I was young, from Ernest Tubb to people like Ray Price and Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, all those big names, Patsy Cline, and it just kind of stuck with me my whole life. And when I was probably maybe a teenager in high school, like around 13 years old, that's when I started picking up the music. And a cousin of mine had a little Martin Marquez guitar. It was like a little classical type guitar, and he had bought it and was trying to learn how to play it, and he couldn't play it, so he threw it in the trash. Wow. And I couldn't believe it. Gosh, he threw it in the trash? What is going on? So I went and I told him, I said, hey, you mind if I keep that guitar? And he said, well, yeah, take it if you want to. I don't really care. I can't play the darn thing. So he ended up taking it. And I ended up taking it, and I took it home and just started playing with it in my room, and just kind of learned how to play the guitar from there when I was 13 years old, and started writing songs. And of course, the songs I was writing back then, they weren't very good. They were bad. But you learn, and you learn how to play, and you learn how to write. And that's how it got started with me, was more with the traditional country music. But I loved the 90s music that we had here and now. People like Alan Jackson, George Strait.
Absolutely.
That type of style too. I reflect a lot of my music. You're not going to hear a lot of, rocking stuff in any of my albums. You might have a few little screaming guitars here and there in a couple songs, but it's just not me. It's not who I am. Not that I couldn't do it, but it's just not who I am and what I do. I'm more traditional artist.
And in terms of writing, now I think you write for other people as well, or other people have recorded the songs you've written.
Yeah. I wrote a song for George Strait. I wrote a song for Alan Jackson.
Okay.
Me and Rhonda Vincent, the bluegrass queen.
Yeah.
We wrote a song. We did a duet together. I wrote a song, and we ended up doing the duet. Johnny Rodriguez, we did a duet together. So I've had a few cuts, here in Nashville, and just I'm just trying to plug away, just keep writing and keep playing and do what I do.
Are you, I mean, would you say you're a prolific writer? Do you, create a lot of material?
I wouldn't call myself a prolific writer. And the reason being is because even when I came to Nashville, it really wasn't what I wanted to do, to be a full-time writer for a publishing company.
Okay.
I usually just write, when it comes something that comes from the heart or situations or something that I can feel and it comes to me, I'll write it. But I'm not one of those type of writers that like these writers that are here in Nashville, they write for a publishing company every day and they write 300 songs a year.
Wow.
I'm not that type of writer. Although I mean, I probably could do it, but it just doesn't interest me doing that. I like writing stuff that I can feel, and something that's happened in my life or something I can relate to the fans. And just, it's just something from the heart to write.
Another song that I particularly wanted to ask you about is That's Life.
That's Life, yeah.
Is that one of your songs?
That is another song that I wrote. And I wrote that song when I first moved to Nashville. I wrote it with I co-wrote it with the great songwriter, Karen Staley, who's written tons of hit songs here in Nashville, like Keeper of the Stars for Tracy Byrd, and just tons of songs. And it was a song about me moving from my small little town in Texas to Nashville. And it was just about my family, about me growing up in Texas. They kind of reflected all that. And so it was very, very personal song to me. And I couldn't sing that song for a very, very long time because it was so personal to me that it took me a long time to sing it live. And, it's probably, I would have to say it's probably my most requested song that I do live, that a song that I wrote. People just love this song because it's real. It's real. There's no bars hold in this song. It's all real and it's all from the heart. And a lot of people can relate to it, growing up in a small town or wherever you grew up. And it's just a heartfelt song, and people just love it to this day, and they still love the song. They're still playing it on radio. So it's been a blessing to me.
In the little video that I watched of that song, there's a lot of kind of photos in the background. And are those actual photographs of your various family members or people that you knew growing up?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a mixture between me and my wife's family.
Right.
We put a lot of her family on there, my family together, and we just kind of put the whole video together. We shot that at RCA Studio B here in Nashville. That's where all the country legends recorded, from Elvis Presley to Merle Haggard to almost Patsy Cline to everybody. They recorded there. And we were able to, a friend of mine had access to the studio, and we were able to go in there and record the video there. And I don't think anybody has ever done that. Really, I think I'm the only person that has ever gone in there and shot a video in our RCA Studio B. So that's history.
Let's get up to sort of what's happening right now for you musically. I mean, do you have any specific new releases coming out or new videos?
Yeah, so I do have an album out right now called The Cowboy. It's called The Cowboy Way, the album. And I don't know if you've gotten that album or not, but it's got a bunch of songs on it that I wrote on there as well too. It's a couple of songs that I wrote back in the 90s as well that I ended up re-recording. Of course, it has the Rhonda Vincent song on there, a duet I did with Johnny Rodriguez on there, a bunch of other songs I wrote with Karen Staley, the songwriter I usually write with. And it's won a lot of awards here. Not here in Nashville, but it's won a lot of awards in Texas. I ended up getting the CMA of Texas Song of the Year. Me and Rhonda Vincent did, as well as the Academy of Western Artists Song of the Year for that duet. And The Cowboy Way also won the CMA of Texas Song of the Year, Western Song of the Year. So I always kind of, I don't try to label myself as just a cowboy or a traditional artist, because I kind of do it all. I like the cowboy music, I like the Western swing, I like the traditional style. So every time I always come out with an album, I try to put everything in there. I always try to put a waltz. I always try to do just kind of mix it up and put everything in an album. And this last album, I think I was able to even do that as well, you know. And I'm really, really proud of this new album.
So, Bobby, thanks very much for taking the time to join us for the interview. It's always a pleasure, as I was mentioning before, to talk to you guys over there in the States. And for me personally, it's always a pleasure to speak to other musicians.
Well, I thank you guys very much for supporting me. You know, even all these years, y'all have played my music. You've you know, given me interviews, supported me all these years, and I appreciate that. There's not a lot of other people that give us a lot of the support for the, you know, the traditional kind of style music that we do. So I really thank you guys for that. And like I said, you know, next year, if you come to Nashville, you just let me know, and we'll throw that campfire thing going, and we'll have a ball.
Yeah, I'll be sending you an email, and then somebody's going to be knocking on your door.
Texas barbecue.
There you go. Somebody wearing an orange hat. So for Country Music News International, my name's Nigel Sharpe. I've been speaking to Bobby Marquez, and I'm going to stick my hand up in front of the camera somewhere or other and wave goodbye. So thanks again. You take care, and hope to see you sometime in the not too distant future.
Sounds good, my friend. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.